On this special edition of Speaking of Spirits, we do an interview with musician Bryan Bielanski. He will join us here in Pocatello at the Union Tap Room on Saturday, November 12th. Join us as the paranormal meets the world of music.
Hey everybody, this is Colleen with Speaking of Spirits, and today we have a little takeoff from our normal topics. We are talking with Bryan Bielanski, and he's a musician. He is headed our way to... Bryan, where are you going to be playing?
I am playing at the Union Tap Room on November 12th there in Pocatello from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's an all-ages free show. And by the way, hello, Colleen and Tim, and thanks for having me on Speaking of Spirits. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, today we've got my sidekick, Tim. Woo! And we've got Zach.
Hello.
And Carrie.
Hello.
And so today we thought we'd take off a little bit from our normal topics of dark and scary stuff and talk to Bryan a little bit about his music and weave in some paranormal stuff with it. So, Bryan, since this is a paranormal podcast, what have you ever had any paranormal experiences?
Well, actually, I have, and one of the reasons why I was really excited about being on the podcast, because it's definitely an area of great interest to me. Yeah, I've had a few paranormal experiences. Back home in North Carolina, there was a time when I was a teenager, and a friend of mine and I were hiking very, very far away, miles away from any kind of civilization. We came across just a random baby doll head laying around in the forest, and when we stopped to look at it, it opened its eyes and looked back at us. So it really freaked my friend out. He started screaming and ran. I was intrigued, though. I felt inclined to follow my friend running, but if he hadn't have ran away, I probably would have stuck around and tried to see what that was all about. I was definitely intrigued by that.
There is absolutely nothing creepier than dolls except maybe clowns.
Oh, they're just uncanny.
Oh, God.
I think no doubt. I think it's probably a tie there. And I actually did, back in North Carolina, lived in a really old plantation house that was from the 1800s. It had been, modernly renovated, of course. But it supposedly was haunted. And one day, me and my ex-girlfriend's wine glasses just tipped over spontaneously out of nowhere, simultaneously both our wine glasses just tipped over as we were having dinner. So that was another paranormal experience there. So just a few things here and there throughout my life, and it's something, like I said, very, very interested in, and I think it's great that y'all delve into the topics in detail.
That's cool.
So, do you have any paranormal things wove into your music? Maybe fallen wine glasses?
Well, yeah, actually, so my latest single from my new album, Brian Super Happy Fun Time 2, called Elf Girlfriend. So a lot of people are always asking me what the inspiration for that was, and as a full-time touring artist in 2020, when everything shut down because of the pandemic, I actually did a lot of extended camping in the national forests and looked into that and saw that a lot of people have reported a lot of sightings of paranormal creatures in the national forests, like Wendigos, Bigfoots, and whatnot. So I wanted to write a song that was a bit more of like a bit more lighthearted. So I had the, just kind of the fairy tale story about meeting an elf girlfriend out in the woods. Because there's also been a lot of people to report sightings of elves and gnomes, pixies, all that stuff.
So you have a song, I think it's called Gateway to Another Dimension. And
yes,
was that like UFO based, or did you have, what's in the title? Tell us about that.
Oh, well, yeah. So, and once again, and that's definitely kind of a paranormal topic there too. Yeah, that's something else I'm really into. Just all kinds of stuff, and with that title, just it's like my love letter to like 60s psychedelic rock. There, it's got the sitar and the backwards vocal tracks and everything. And yeah, just something I think about a lot too, that we live in like a 3 or 4 dimensional world, but something that I've also heard is that, anyone that were to live on a 2-dimensional like line could never actually perceive us like looking down at it. It would just see us as a straight line as well. So I kind of think that's probably pretty much how our, that works with higher dimensions than us.
Yeah.
I think that's a really fun topic to delve into. The idea that maybe there are, entities or life forms out there that can perceive us, but we can't perceive them. Sort of like, how we would look down on like an ant or something, and it's just, incomprehensible. I think it's interesting. The idea that
exactly.
you can keep going down that with planes of existence, that line of thought.
It kind of creeps me out thinking about something looking down on us like ants.
Yeah.
I mean, when are they going to hold a magnifier over us? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the thing about it, right?
It's freaky.
I think the latest poll was 2024.
Oh, was that it?
Mm-hmm. But we'll see. We lived through the 2012 one and the 2000 one and the 96 one.
You've played in a lot of different countries. Even what do you think was your favorite venue? I was just gonna ask. You've played in a lot of different countries, and so what was your favorite venue to play in?
Right. Well, when I was playing in Greece, I was actually playing on the island of Crete, some shows there, and it was a village kind of artist commune that was just nearby the ruins of an ancient pagan temple down there, the Minoan, civilization and everything. So that was definitely another place where, kind of vibing on some of the, it was definitely some great atmosphere down there. That was great. Festival down there. It's called the Icarus Artist Commune. And, of course, London was great too. Played the Troubadour there. But, I try to find like a little joy in every single venue I play, every city, every country.
Well, that's cool. I like that.
So what are you working on right now that you're most excited about? What's coming up for you?
Oh, well, so this is, I'm on month 8 when I actually get to Pocatello next month. That'll be month 9 of the 10-month 2022 tour. And when I get back home to North Carolina in December, I'm just going to record Brian's Super Happy Fun Time 3 and do the whole thing all over again next year. Just, keep going coast to coast, back and forth, playing music and, starting to get some plans on the drawing board for maybe going back to Europe in the future here, because now things are kind of calming down as far as pandemic-related things are. And I'd love to go back to Europe. And once again, keeping in theme with the Speaking of Spirits show here, there's so much great, a lot of great stuff over there for, as far as paranormal stuff goes. I actually had pleasure of visiting Stonehenge on one of my days off over there on a previous tour, and that another place, like you just walk into the place and you can feel like something magical about the place. It was great. It was like a breathtaking experience.
Yeah, Europe has a year or two on us.
Just a
Yeah,
few.
indeed they do. But then of course here, and that's something that's very very interesting about Pocatello too. Just all the history with the Native Americans, and I've found like a lot of there's a lot of interesting paranormal stuff from their culture as well.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Saw that doll head out in the woods that I was telling you all about. My dad actually said that, well, maybe that was the discorporated spirit of like a Native American, since we were just out in the middle of the woods there. But yeah, no, it's great. There's all kinds of great places for that all over the world.
Yeah, we were talking not too long ago on one of our episodes, I believe, about kind of like the interesting duality between European paranormal folklore and, the folklore we have over here in the United States. And, one of the things I think is really funny is how the European folklore is a little more whimsical. And then in the United States, it's almost just terrifying a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's a fun duality.
Or at least perceived as terrifying.
Yeah, perceived as.
Yeah. Although England has spontaneous human combustion seemingly every day.
There is
that. So there's that. And I don't think it happens too much here, although we've had a few cases.
Well, I think they like alcohol a little bit.
No kidding, but you're right about that. Over there, they've got the leprechauns and fairies, and then over here, it's like Wendigos and Bigfoot. So you're totally right about that. I've never thought about that dichotomy there, but that's a really neat observation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we look forward to seeing you. Was it November 12th?
November 12th.
November 12th at the Union Tap Room. Yep, that is right. I am looking forward. It'll be my first time performing in Pocatello, and I am certainly looking forward to it.
Well, we'll have to hang out down there and meet you live and in person.
Well, that sounds great. I'd love to have you come out, and it's always a pleasure to, it's great to talk on the phone over the airwaves, but it's always great to meet people in person. I think there's nothing better than it. And one of the things I love the most about touring is just getting to meet all kinds of great people all over the place.
That's awesome, Brian. Well, thanks for joining us today. We'll make sure to get this out and let everybody in Pocatello know that you're coming, and try to get the word out so that you have a good audience for that night.
Well, thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on Speaking of Spirits, and I've enjoyed talking with y'all. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Speaking of Spirits, powered by Pocatello Paranormal Research in Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad you could be here. If you're enjoying the podcast, please do us a favor and go to whatever platform you are listening to the podcast on and give us a review. We prefer the 5-star reviews. This helps us know how we're doing, and it helps others to find the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you on our next podcast.
Ha 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 ha.